talked around and said, we wonder if we could get Tom Daniel here as a consultant. Would the Peace Corps bring him down? And it was the right time at the Peace Corps for that, because our country director decided he would go into his budget and bring Dr. Daniel down as a consultant. The reason, I think, partly at least, besides the fact that he liked and trusted us, I think, was that this was a new approach for Peace Corps. Remember we talked before about the community sort of development approach, and then training volunteers to do specific targeted things. This TB control program was one of the first programs of the Peace Corps did that. And Bolivia had several other programs that were agriculturally based. Volunteers were trained, for example, in pasture management and animal husbandry to deal with sheep cooperatives and wool and all of that. So it was important to the Peace Corps to know whether or not this was working and to get the best input it could. So all of that, I think, led to a decision to humor us and let us bring Tom Daniel down. Well, of course, he jumped at the chance. He came into country. He was in country, I think, about 10 days, week and a half, something like week and a half to 2 weeks. He came in. Of course, he was very familiar with what we were doing. I knew him, but he met Ron, and they hit it off well. And then we took him out into the Yungas. So he met almost all the volunteers. We missed one or two who were away from their site, either on a vacation or one was way off doing skin testing, and we just couldn't get to them. They were riding mules and hiking through the mountains and all of that stuff, trying to find people. These houses perched on the side of hills. I'll show you some pictures sometime. You get a sense of what this was like. Ask Dick about it when you call him again. Talked about riding a mule, I think. Tom reviewed all of that, and I think it was very helpful to the volunteers to have a TB expert there looking at what they were doing and praising them for the work they were doing. And eventually the volunteers got close to 80% of the population was reached, which is pretty good in about a year and a half. Pretty good given that they're scattered all over creation.
If we look at sickle cell anemia in Africa, one of the, which of course has negatives to the health of the individual, one of the positives is that people that have sickle cell anemia have more resistance to malaria.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about tuberculosis. Is there anything that's a plus about this disease that protects the population from something? What's the story on TB? Just flat out a dangerous organism that takes life.
Yes. And it's been a bane to mankind for millennia.
Really? Yeah. Thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah. And in recorded history, you can look back particularly at Europe, and you'll read about the poets who are consumptive, who are coughing into their handkerchief a little bit of red blood, who die young, who have lungs that are afflicted. It's been around a long, long time. It's not as acute as something like the plague, which of course killed a lot of people. But it tends to be indigenous, and people get infected, and most of them actually don't get sick. They wall the organism off in the lung, and they, in many ways, are protected from the disease over time. But if their immune system begins to deteriorate, while they wall off that organism, it's not dead, it sits there. And if the immune response begins to fail, then it can escape. It's one reason in internship, whenever elderly people came in, that means us now. One of the things we would always think about is, have they been exposed to TB? It's not so common anymore because TB is relatively uncommon in the US, although it's still certainly here. Because we would always be concerned that if somebody was hospitalized for serious illness, that might compromise their immune system enough to have TB emerge.
Ardith, I'm going to go ahead and just turn the camera towards you here. And if you could, just anything you want to say about what's been said today, you know.
Well, an end result of the fact that Bill contacted Tom Daniel is that he got so excited about the program that he decided, along with his family, he wanted to replace Bill and Ron when they left. And so they were preparing to do this. Well, we drove back and we came back, and I had a job teaching at a high school in the Cleveland area and tutoring the Daniel family because they did not speak Spanish. The kids had a little tiny bit, of them, 4 kids, yeah. Mm-hmm. A little tiny bit of Spanish in various places in school, but they really didn't speak Spanish. So I tutored the parents, very bright parents, mm-hmm. tutored the parents, and then I would tutor the 4 children